So Apple's latest small smartphone marvel, iPhone SE, has hit the market by quite surprise with its high demand. Contrary to numerous blogs that have suggested, this is a product that will be a tough sell. With the speed and the internals of its brethren iPhone 6s, that puts this small smartphone at the cutting edge of smartphone technology. On the other hand, the LG G4 was a smartphone that arguably pressured Apple to up their camera innovation, as it and leading Samsung smartphones have impressed its users with outstanding photos. The LG G4 has received its fair share of criticism for its choice to go with a lower power Snapdragon 808 and the 6-core CPU rather than an 810 with 8 cores. However, Qualcomm and LG worked together extensively to produce a highly optimized phone in the LG G4. So, with that being said, iPhone SE versus LG G4. Let's see which one takes the cake in a multitude of tests here. Remember, the iPhone SE holds 2GB of RAM and the LG G4 holds 3GB of RAM. And while many may argue that iOS is a more efficient operating system, let's see how much that proves true here in this comparison of Apple's 2016 small premium phone versus LG's best of mid-2015. So what is up, guys? Welcome to LG G4 versus iPhone SE speed test comparison. Now there's going to be tests while I'm cleaning these off. You can go check them down below in the description, where you can go to the section of the tests that you want to see the most. They'll be down there and I'll time code them for you if you don't want to see every single test that we do in this video. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get into the first test of this video now that both of these devices are now cleaned off, except for that little smudge there on the iPhone SE. But let's get into the first test really quickly here and let's go. So the first test on this list is going to be the boot up test between the LG G4 and the iPhone SE. So we're going to boot these guys up in 3, 2, 1 here. And let's go ahead and boot these guys up and see which one gets there first. Now my guess is going to be the iPhone SE, and that's just because that A9 chip has proven in the past to be one beast in terms of its boot up speeds. We've seen it in previous videos on the channel, and we're going to probably see it here once again for the iPhone SE. So let's see which one gets there first. Now the LG is no chump booting up. It boots up pretty quickly, but the iPhone SE has just been very great at booting up. As you can see, like predicted, it did win there, and the LG G4 is just about 3 to 4, maybe 10 seconds behind, 5 to 10 seconds behind on the boot up. So it's not a big deal. How often do we really boot up our phones? But at the end of the day, the LG G4 did lose that test. Now both of these are fair on no sims. Now what I want to do really quickly is go ahead and confirm the software of each of these devices so you can see which software version we are competing against here between these two. So if we go down to About Phone on the LG G4, you are going to see that we do have the Android 6.0 Marshmallow here. This is just 6.0, not the .0.1 or .0.2 version. This is just clean Marshmallow, the stock version of it with LG skin on top. Over here, we do have the, it's iOS, the latest. I'm running the latest. We're always running the latest. And I'm not running betas, I run official versions. This is the latest official 9.3.4 for iPhone SE. Alright, so what we're going to do here is just kind of take a look at the general user interface of the LG G4, and then we're going to take a look at the iPhone SE. So you can see everything just kind of flies through here in terms of just scrolling through stuff. Very optimized LG skin here with the processor combination. So, having that 6-core CPU does not really affect its performance in any way, shape, or form. It proves to be a very optimized and very great experience to use the LG G4. As you can see, there is no chop or delay in terms of just swiping through the app drawers or going through, your quick toggles up there. Now on the iPhone SE, for the longest time, iOS has always been this way. Very smooth, very buttery smooth. So there's nothing really much to talk about there. You go up from quick control, that sometimes lags on some devices, but you don't get any lag here in terms of anywhere in terms of the general UI on the iPhone SE, the user interface there. So now let's get into the application test. You can see I have applications both lined up, and I'm going to show you that nothing is open on the LG G4 over here, and nothing is opened over here on the iPhone SE. So this is going to be a totally fair test, and we're going to run it through these applications. So let's begin with the App Store and the Play Store. Let's see which one gets there first. And it looks like The iPhone was slightly there. Let me know what you guys think, which one was there, but the iPhone is definitely smoother in terms of scrolling through its app store, as it just has had more time to be developed, and Apple controls everything there, whereas Android doesn't have, you know, one particular phone and one particular platform. It is very fragmented. But let's go into the calculator. You can see here about even there. I would say slightly quicker to the home screen on the G4. So Twitter is first here on the LG G4, and then the iPhone SE. Going home, the G4 is always quicker due to Android's faster animations going back to the home screen. But LG did take the cake here with the Spotify application as well. But let's see if iPhone could come back here. Let's go into YouTube really quickly and let's see which one gets there first of all. And it looked like the iPhone SE did make a nice comeback here in terms of the YouTube app. Let's go ahead and play that video, the first one at the top of the list, ZT Max Duo full review. Go check that out if you haven't already. But it looks like the iPhone did start playing first, but then it hopped into an advertisement. Let's go into Instagram. Let's see which one gets there first. Looked like iPhone SE was there first, but you know what? This is so close. It's very hard to tell. But LG G4 did load the content quicker in Instagram, so that one's, I'm gonna call it a draw. Let's go into eBay really quickly, and eBay has always shown to be better for my experience on the iOS system. So let's go into, what is this, clock right here. So it looks about even in terms of that. Now let's go into clock one more time, and you can see it is even there on the G4. Slightly back to the home screen, G4 once again. Let's go into Adobe Lightroom here, and it looks like the iPhone SE, even with that little prompt, did load the application first. So it depends on your third-party apps. Some apps are more developed, you know, optimized for iOS versus Android, but it looked like the iPhone did make that one there. Now the LG G4, I do want to mention, does rock a bit if you have it on table. So if you like your LG G4 and you want to put it on table, you know, just be aware it's going to rock if you don't have a case on it. So iPhone SE did make it to Amazon first here. Let's go into a speed test, and we'll run one of these later on in the video. That's going to be a separate test. Let's just see which one gets there first. And it looks like the G4 did lose to the SE in that battle. Let's go into the Apai Geek really quickly here. And SE does show content first once again over the G4. So the SE and G4 are trading blows here, but it looks like the SE is taking the cake. Now let's go into Temple Run here, and we're going to do more of a gaming test later, but I just wanted to show you that iPhone SE did load the game first here, but overall once you start playing it, it's pretty similar affair nonetheless. Now let's get into the next test of this testing between these guys. So in this section of the video, what we're going to do is just go through the multitasking and see which one holds the apps in the background better. So you can see that LG does have the multitasking on the up way, like a vertical way, where it's horizontal on the iPhone. You know, all Androids are pretty much like that in terms of multitasking. But in terms of their smoothness, you would be hard pressed to find one being slower than the other in terms of just scrolling through them. So let's go into the App Store and Play Store. It looks like the App Store held that better in the background, and it looks like it had to reload Apai Geek on the iPhone, so that's a win for LG. Let's go into, let's see right here, speed test, and it looked like LG had that holding in the background, and the LG is one of the better optimized multitasking phones for Android, I believe. But let's go into this one, and you can see Zillow was open on iPhone SE. But that could be an opinion, you know, it could be better optimized on other phones as well, but I just think the LG G4 is one of the better multitasking Android smartphones you can buy, even though its price has been dropping, and it wouldn't suggest that. It really is a pretty great multitasking smartphone. But scrolling over into, let's see what we're going to go to here, and let's go into clock. It looks about the same there. Let's scroll over and let's go into Instagram here. So you can see Instagram looked loaded here first on the LG G4. Actually, I missed that one, but let's go ahead and do YouTube here. So YouTube there on the iPhone SE. But let's go ahead and head into one more application, or maybe a couple more. Spotify, let's see, that looked like iPhone SE won that on the, you know, Spotify. So let's go ahead and show you that you can have these all cleared very easily on the LG G4. So clearing all your multitasking apps is pretty cool there on the G4, where you have to go through them individually on the iPhone SE, or you can do their 3-finger gesture, which doesn't work super well on this small phone because it's not that much screen real estate to do it. Nevertheless, both of them are multitasking champs in my opinion for their respective operating systems. Now what I'm going to do in this test, guys, I'm open the browser on the G4 as well as the iPhone, and I'm going to open up 5 tabs of 5 similar websites, and I'm going to show you how the, you know, multitasking performs in the browser, and this is indicative of how well optimized this platforms are for their respective hardware. But I'm gonna skip through this because I'm gonna load up 5 on each of them, and I will catch you guys in just a little bit when we get to them all being loaded up and we could show the multitasking. So you guys can see here that I do have the same websites loaded up, and let's go in and see which one holds apps in or browser tabs in the background better. You can see Google had the reload on the G4. Let's go back in the tabs on G4 and iPhone. Let's go into the next website test here, and I missed the tap there on the iPhone. But let's go into the Verge, and you can see G4 had to reload once again on the Verge, and it's taking quite a while. As you can see, this is where that A9 really shows its prowess. Safari is a super optimized browser. Now this might be a different scenario with Chrome, but I highly doubt it. This is very optimized. Let's go into Techno Buffalo, and you can see the Techno Buffalo had to reload on the LG G4 as well, whereas it was already ready to go and read on the iPhone SE. So if you're somebody who likes to browse the internet a lot, you're gonna have a really good experience with the SE. Going into ESPN, you can see we're still waiting on the G4 reloading once again. So browsing is definitely a champ on the SE and much better experience than on the G4 in terms of multitasking, not in terms of screen quality, but Safari was much smoother in my experience than this LG Optimus browser, or you could say LG Skins browser here. But you could see that win is definitely going to go to the iPhone SE. The LG G4 just couldn't hang there in terms of the multitasking on browser tabs. So let's get into the next test of this video. So what we're gonna do here, guys, we're gonna do our speed test, our Wi-Fi speed test on both of them. They are connected to the same exact Wi-Fi network, and it looks like the iPhone did load it first here, but let's go ahead and begin the test on the LG G4, and let's see how it pulls in Wi-Fi. Now both have the same AC Wi-Fi technology under the hood. So you can see, let's go into the G4 on the download, looking pretty decent there, 15, 14. Now it is Sunday and there is plenty of web traffic right now, so I wouldn't expect either phone to pull in monster speeds at this time of recording, but you can see that we're getting about 12 on the upload for the LG G4, and once that is done, we're going to go ahead and begin the test here on the iPhone SE. But let's just take a closer look at the download and the upload speeds here on the G4 in just a second here, once the iPhone SE gets going in its speed testing here. But overall, Wi-Fi speeds did show to be pretty strong on both of these devices, so I wouldn't worry too much about which one is going to perform better on the actual Wi-Fi speeds here. But while that is showing the upload, you can see that the iPhone is pulling in quite a decent upload. Looks a little bit better than what we got on the LG G4 in terms of just the sheer uploading. So you can see over here on the G4, as mentioned, 16.8 Mbps down, megabytes per second down, whereas we've got 12.58 on the up. And the iPhone SE did prove to be better, so this win is definitely going to the SE in terms of Wi-Fi strength and speed here for this particular test. Not scientific, but fun to watch anyway. Alright guys, for this test, we're just going to take a closer look at that gaming that we talked about earlier. I'm going to close everything out once more, just so we can go ahead and open these games. Let's go into Temple Run here, and you can see that the iPhone SE did load it quicker. Now, the iPhone SE does tend to leave games in cache, so that kind of wasn't fair there. But overall, SE, you can play a game, close it out, and come back, and it'll still be playing. It's pretty cool if you're a gamer, because you might be in class playing a game under the table, and you want to go ahead and get back to it later, and you know what? It'll be right loaded up, ready for you guys to go here for the SE. But the SE, I'm going to close that out and go to the main menu one more time on Temple Run. But let's do that one more time, see a fair test. But you can see iPhone SE is just blazing fast on the gaming performance. So if you're looking for a heavy gaming performance machine for a small little phone, this is going to be it. I did do a gaming review on the iPhone SE, which I'll leave a link down below in the description as well as in a card. We're going to go ahead and load Grand Theft Auto 3, a more processor intensive task here for the phones, and you can see iPhone SE is loading it up quicker there. Now I didn't tap it on the G4, but it's still showing to be just a bit quicker here on the iPhone SE. Let's hit start on both of them. But I'm pretty impressed with what the G4 is showing here in terms of just, loading the game. It's not very slow. I mean, it's pretty decent. So you're going to get a pretty decent gaming performance out of both. But one thing I don't like about the G4 is these home buttons do not disappear in Grand Theft Auto. Some, apps it might disappear, but I didn't like that. It was kind of distracting. Whereas the SE, there is no on-screen buttons, but that's just a personal preference. But the G4's bigger screen was pretty enjoyable overall, but the SE is definitely the winner in the gaming department from my experience. Now let's talk about the battery life on both of these devices. Now the LG G4 does have decent battery life, and the SE has pretty awesome battery life, to say the least here. Now the LG G4 does have the ability to take the back cover off and swap between batteries, which gives you 0 to 100 within, you know, a few seconds. But the iPhone SE or the LG G4 also has 2.0 quick charging, so you do have some flexibility in terms of your battery life, but the SE does have longer battery life, so you really got to pick and choose which one is going to be, you know, more of a preference to you. Do you want faster charging, or do you want longer battery life with the SE? You know, you get, you know, that battery, you know, that's removable on the G4, but the G4 can also go the full day on medium to heavy use without either one of those two things I just mentioned. So the G4's battery life is not bad at all, but the iPhone SE is just a longevity champ. Now, if I had to choose my preference, I would go with the SE, just because I'd rather have long battery life than having to remember to get a battery or go plug it into a fast charger. But to some people, that's not a problem, but this is totally an equal, you know, kind of thing, because G4 gives you flexibility, SE gives you length. Now, in terms of the camera quality on both of these devices, let's open them up and see which one does shoot the picture first. Now, don't be fooled, the G4 does have that great 16 megapixel camera, but the iPhone SE has a really great camera as well, and it looks like the pictures are a tad bit quicker here on the iPhone SE, especially in burst mode, a lot quicker here. Both have the ability to shoot in 4K, but let's go ahead and grab this mic, and I'm going to take a picture on each of them and just kind of show you the level of detail. Now, in terms of these close-up macros, the G4 will definitely impress the average person who looks at both of these phones. I think the G4 will be a more impressive shot up close when you start looking at the level of detail, such as this one in the microphone here. Now, if you go on the G4, I'm going to go into auto mode here before I snap the picture, and you can see that we do have the microphone right here, and I'm going to go ahead and take that picture. And while it does look dimmer on the screen, when you offload this picture to another device, such as a Samsung device with a Super AMOLED screen, or on a computer with a beautiful QHD screen, the picture quality does look, you know, really nice there on a computer. So you can see the level of detail you get with the G4. And if I had to choose one of these cameras, honestly, the G4 is a camera that, you know, if you know how to mess with cameras, you know how to tweak, and you know how to lift exposure, and you're going to do some post editing and stuff, the G4 is going to make users happier. Now, if I just want a camera that I just want to have a point and shoot for great photography, and I don't have the time to go do post-production and all that, I just want the shot to be clean and come out consistent every time, I'm going to go with the iPhone SE, and I'm going to be happy with that as well. So this is give or take. What do you want? Do you want the tweakable manual controls, next level cutting edge technology manual controls on the G4, or do you want that consistency with that clear, sharp picture that you're pretty much guaranteed to get on the iPhone every time? Overall, I'd say they're pretty much equal, but you know, the G4 does have some more flexibility, just like it did with its battery in its camera department. But let me know what you guys think down below on these cameras. So that's pretty much going to wrap this video up, guys. This one's a little bit longer than the ones in the past, but I did want to go through several different, you know, stages of comparisons rather than just kind of rushing through it and just doing some app tests. We did cover plenty of sections. Hopefully this helped you out in choosing whether you want one of these devices. Anyway, have a great day wherever you are. Be sure to be well, and peace.